Should you switch from Adobe Premiere to Davinci Resolve? This seems to be the million-dollar question in the video editing community at the moment. If you go onto YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you'll see creators both big and small all suddenly shifting to this new software that's supposed to be way better than Adobe Premiere. But just how much better is it? So I tried it out, and while I did get a taste of these shiny new features, I decided to stick with Premiere. Hear me out. Hi, my name is Justin, and this channel is all about helping you guys make better videos 1% at a time. So be sure to subscribe for more. My first reason is all about interconnectivity of the different Adobe apps. Here's a look at what my normal workflow looks like. I start a project file with Adobe Premiere, import all my footages, audio, and whatever assets I need. Then I clean up my audio with either using Adobe's AI Podcast Enhance tool or Adobe Audition. I make my cuts and assemble my video in Premiere, and then through dynamic linking, add in my text effects and other VFX using Adobe After Effects. Most of the times, whatever graphics I need, I can use Photoshop and Illustrator to make assets, and like other Adobe apps, bringing them all back together in Premiere is very easy to do. Needless to say, while Davinci does have an advantage with it being a free software and all, I actually use a lot of the other Adobe software for my content, which makes it worth it for me to pay for their service. Do I wish it was cheaper? Yes, of course I do. I absolutely do. Reason number 2, plugins. As creators and editors, figuring out a way to make your workflow faster is important. And one of the things that can help is using plugins. At the moment, there's just so much more third-party plugins you can use with Premiere and After Effects than in Davinci. Take Mr. Horse's Premiere Composer, for example, which I use 100% of the time. Premiere Composer, at the time of making this video, is only available both to Premiere and After Effects, and not for Resolve. I'm sure the plugins are coming for Resolve, and when they do, then it's really only gonna make Davinci so much better. But that was something I didn't want to wait around for yet. My next reason, and one you probably won't find in any other Adobe Premiere and Davinci Resolve comparison videos, especially in a Pro Adobe Premiere Pro video like this. While Premiere's color grading tools are limited, they are also much simpler. Call me crazy, but not everything I do requires me to fine-tune my footage to the smallest details, especially in terms of color. Is it better to do it in Premiere? Definitely not, but I've personally never had any issues doing this in Premiere up until I tried using Resolve. Davinci's color grading tools does make dialing in your color grade so much fun and easier to understand. However, I don't believe that a video graded in Premiere suddenly becomes inferior. Remember, all those beautiful videos you love from your favorite creators who did everything in Premiere? Do you look at them now and think they're trash? I bet more than 95% of people wouldn't even know which software was used to edit a video anyway. For what I do, which includes videos for social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, I just need to quickly cut and grade things as fast as possible. And I'm not overly concerned about fine-tuning the smallest details just yet. Working with 3 adjustment layers in Premiere Pro, no matter how primitive or basic it may seem, is just a lot easier for me. It just works. Saying or even laughing at people who do their grading in Premiere and not in Davinci as if it's the only way to do things is a very narrow-minded perspective in my honest opinion. Before anything else, I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the ASUS Zenbook Pro 16X OLED that the amazing people at ASUS sent over. Zenbook Pro 16X OLED is one of ASUS's newest laptops in 2023. It features a 13th generation Intel Core i9 CPU, RTX 4080 dedicated graphics card, and 32 gigs of RAM. Using the world's first active aerodynamic system, the keyboard tilts up as you open it for more ergonomics, which actually helps cool the laptop down for maximum performance too. It features this ASUS dial, which you can use to change parameters like brush sizes and other customizable shortcuts. When I heard that this laptop was using the ASUS Lumina OLED, it made me geek out in ways only a few people would understand. Probably one of the most impressive engineering feats is the Supernova system on Module, which basically saw a 38% reduction in motherboard core area size from last year's model. This makes it much more efficient in cooling, allows more space for a powerful GPU, and makes streaming or even 3D rendering possible. Head on over to ASUS or check the links in the description box below to learn more about the Zenbook Pro 16X OLED. The last reason, and probably the most important one for me, is the availability of tutorials and resources for learning both software applications. Currently, it is much easier to find the tutorials and resources you need for Premiere Pro and After Effects compared to Resolve. Many people, including myself, get scared or discouraged when they realize they need After Effects for a certain technique. What motivated me to push through and overcome that fear was the abundance of free resources I found on YouTube, Instagram, and other online sources. If you're just starting out, it may be faster for you to learn Adobe software in that regard, at least for now. As I mentioned, the community behind Davinci is growing, so this situation may change soon. So if you're sitting down at home paralyzed with thinking about which software to go with to start making content, think of it this way. At the end of the day, it's like comparing apples and oranges. Each has its own strengths and qualities depending on what you're looking for. Both are excellent options that offer unique features. They will both help you achieve your desired results and produce professional output, especially if you know what you're doing. If you can effectively complete your tasks using Premiere, then stick with it. The same goes for Davinci. My concern is that I often see people implying that if you don't do things a certain way, then you must be clueless about what you're doing. The reality is that there are usually multiple ways to accomplish a task, whether you like it or not. Obviously, if you don't want to spend any money, Resolve will be the better choice. Additionally, color grading tools are amazing. However, that's where it stops for me, at least for now. When it comes to cutting, graphics, animations, and everything else except color grading, Adobe is much better suited to my workflow. My point here is, if something is working for you, then keep at it. Don't switch just because everyone else is saying so. Will I stick with Premiere Pro forever? Who knows? But for now, I'm sticking with Adobe while keeping an eye on how the community and resources for Davinci develop. If you liked this video, then please don't forget to hit the like button, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to check out these other videos on the channel that are sure to help you make better videos 1% at a time.